I was at McKinsey at that time, and I had worked on this project in Malaysia, which was on the economic development of Malaysia. So Chandrababu Naidu had visited Malaysia and heard from Mahathir that McKinsey had worked on creating a Vision 2020 for Malaysia. So when he came back, he tried to get in touch with McKinsey. And so, to cut a long story short, now I was with McKinsey here in India working on the Andhra Pradesh Vision 2020. Now, even though we were working with the state and we were doing a lot to attract investment into the state, honestly, in the early days of that, in parallel, I was working on ISB.
Yeah.
Honestly, in those early days, the idea of having ISB go to Hyderabad never came up, because even after we moved out of IIT Delhi or I decided to move on from IIT Delhi and set it up independently, most of our board members, and all the, like we talked about, industrialists, were from Bombay. So the obvious choice was to go to Bombay. And they said, ki Bombay mein hum land le lenge, regulatorily everywhere. We are comfortable. We are all in Bombay.
It would have been the easiest place to set up because
and commercial capital of the country, logical choice.
Yeah.
Now, when we started to run into problems in Bombay, and the story, I don't want to repeat it here, but it's, Balasaheb Thackeray asked for reservations, and very heavy reservations, 50% for faculty, 100% for staff, and I don't remember for students. So then our strategy was to see if we could put pressure on Bombay to remove those constraints. Because after he made those pronouncements, unfortunately, he made it to the press.
Okay.
Then the bureaucrats started feeling like, oh no, we did not want it to go this way. It was a situation that went a little bit out of hand. So they started saying, listen, let's wait a little bit, and in a few months and so on, we'll try and correct this situation and remove some of these restrictions. But informally and formally, and we also thought, let's put some pressure on Bombay by showing that other people are also interested. But when this happened, that news came out that this is happening, and now ISB is looking for other locations. Then the McKinsey team that was working with Chandrababu Naidu, which was also working with me, we got into action, and we made him write a letter to every board member individually saying, listen, if you want to look for a good location, there couldn't be a better place than Hyderabad, and I'm happy to welcome you, and so on. So that's when we started engaging. And then there is, of course, the whole story of how one day we flew from Bombay to Hyderabad to Bangalore to Chennai to find the place. And of course, the way he treated the board when we arrived there, and with so much respect and affection and grace, that people were just bowled over. The land that he offered us was fantastic. Where the campus is. In those days, there was nothing there but a barren piece of land with some rocks. Today, it's a thriving metropolis. It could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So I think he was really visionary in that sense. In fact, I still remember that he took everybody and presented. And of course, the presentation was done by the McKinsey team. But the title was Hyderabad, the Knowledge Capital of Asia. Okay. And on the PowerPoint, he had Hyderabad with a star. And there were links to Shanghai, Singapore, London.
He wanted to make Hyderabad Dubai.
That's right.
Or Singapore.
Exactly. But just this conception that Hyderabad can be the hub, he saw it. He could see. Now, you could argue today that it has not quite become that. But equally, if you look at where it has gone from where it was, it's amazing.
If you aim for star, definitely will reach the moon.
That's right. That's right. It's a great example of that. So yeah, that's how it happened. But more than that, he did not give up. Once we got the land, I still remember there were 3 public interest litigations against the award of the land to ISB. And this was not free land. We had actually paid for it. But a lot of people got into the went to court and said that this land was not legitimately acquired by the government and they had no right to sell it to ISB, and that the price was not right, and this is not in public interest, this is a private project, all of that. He personally asked the Attorney General to take charge of these 3 public interest litigations. I remember he told me that you have to come here and work closely with this gentleman to fight these cases. Then just every amount of support. We had problems with water, drinking water, the last stretch of road that had to be built. I mean, it was unprecedented. He basically told me in the end that, listen, my guys won't be able to get the road done in time. You please build it and you tell me how much it is. I'll find a way to pay you. That's what we did. The electricity, they had to build a substation and towers to carry power, to wheel the power to the campus. That was delayed. Again, he stepped in. So every step of the way. And he started to talk about ISB wherever he went. So he became our biggest evangelist. So, wow! I really think we owe to him to have. And then he got Rangarajan to inaugurate lay the foundation stone. He got Prime Minister Vajpayee to come for the inauguration. He got President Kalam to come for our first convocation. So he took a lot of personal interest. देखो चीफ मिनिस्टर्स बहुत होते हैं, चलो भैया लैंड हो गया तुम्हारा, जाओ काम करो, राइट?
I have so many other things to work.
हाँ यार, he had lot of things to do, but personal interest ले लेके हर step of the way आपको क्या चाहिए, कैसे चाहिए. Now there was an advantage that I was also working with him on the side, so I could ask and I had access to him. But I don't think that was something so special. I think even if I was not working with him as a McKinsey consultant, he would have supported us, because I could see that he was doing that with many other people. I also saw how Microsoft, when they came.
Yeah.
So again, he was, I don't know if you remember the story, that he flew to Delhi. In fact, we were again at McKinsey involved in making sure that he went and met the Bill Gates at the US ambassador's home and said that you come. Then Gates came, there was this big announcement, and finally Microsoft put their research center in Hyderabad. And it's a massive research center. I don't know if you know, it's probably the largest outside of Seattle. So when they were coming in, they wanted to be next to ISB. Now you see how the multiplier effect starts. In fact, they wanted a little bit of extra land. And Mr. Naidu personally called me and he said, can you give us 5 acres of the land that we have sold you? Uske evaz mein, I will give you land on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, I couldn't say no to him, even though this is prime frontage land. But, we talked to the board understood. And, Microsoft is right there with us. And then the whole area just exploded. So I think exemplary leadership, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of really building the state, the city, and contributing to its economic growth and creating a fantastic legacy.